Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023, post market report. Isn't everything just lovely and fantastic? We have a lot to talk about. Let's start off with this market here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 both falling under pressure. The Nasdaq finishing right at the flat line here. If you notice something, you're going to see Microsoft. It's one of the companies that the Fed likes to use to prop up this market. There's a few of them. That's one of them, honestly. But risk in this market is getting so out of control, and I don't see the cavalry arriving here yet. Although the 10-year yield didn't move too much. 4.32 last time I looked at it. The relative strength of the dollar keeps going higher here, and that is definitely a headwind for this market. The MMRI, I mean, just a shade under 280. I think it's like 278 and change. We are like we're not in a good spot here at all, and the economic news just keeps coming, and it's all bad. Let's again just finish up with the market. So gold and silver putting on gains today. Crude hovering around $80. Are we going to get a retest of the recent move to around 77, 78? I think it's very likely. And if we stay there, people, mark my words on this, for you crude oil bulls or you energy bulls, um, if we retest and that becomes a hard floor, the crude's going to go to 90, 95, probably within a very short period of time. So let's keep our eyes on that. You got cryptocurrencies falling under some pressure again. Okay, whatever. You know my take on this. Longer term, none of this stuff phases me at all. We know, you and I, nobody is more clear on how cash is more than likely going to flow through this market. Again, we've seen this before. The environment, believe it or not, still remains. It's fading quickly, but risk on. If the Fed takes action, and I still think this is likely, what's it going to take for me to change my mind? Another 5% probably on the S&P to the downside, something along those lines. We'll see. And obviously, an MMRI over 300. Let's not lose sight of what happened when we crossed 300. We did it once. They floated out this freak from the Fed. They floated out Nick the freaking pig. Everybody they could to try to calm the market down. It worked. Absolutely. Floating out, several Fed presidents and Nick the pig and everybody. It really made a difference. All of a sudden, we watched risk in this market drop. I mean, substantially. We saw cash flooding back into the stock market yet again. Everyone was all happy. Oh, yeah, they really were. Anyway, so let's move forward from all this. So if you're watching banks, and I believe you more than likely are, there's a lot of trouble here. Let's touch on this. And I want to just cover a few things again real quick. Oh, about a year ago or so, you and I knew the problems were beginning with regard to the banks. No deposits, no loans, and no deals. We've watched what happened with regard to the smaller banks, the regional institutions. I told you, we discussed it right here, that the big banks are not immune. They're not immune. And outflows, cash outflows from these major institutions is really a big, big problem. Not only that, okay, we have, again, this CRE issue, commercial real estate monster that hasn't even hit us yet. Just wait for that. Lord Humongous had asked the question earlier. I want to cover that just real quick. I've spoken about this a lot. Lord Humongous said, how many people have their cash in these institutions? People, you got to get it out. Okay, keep in these institutions what you need. People seem to be pulling their cash out at a record pace. You're not allowed to know this is going on because they don't want runs on the banks. But people are pulling their cash out. Why? Someone here smarter than me. Tell me why. we should be keeping excess amounts of cash in these institutions. You should have it in other things, in assets, in real things. Stuff it under your mattress if you have to, but keeping your cash in a commercial bank is a very bad idea. You want to keep it in an institution, look for a credit union. Credit union, why a credit union? I've spoken about this before, but I'm going to tell you just real quick. They don't take unnecessary risk, and they're not for profit. You understand? So, and they have no derivative exposure at all, zero. Unlike the mega Wall Street institutions with hundreds of untold trillions of dollars in derivative exposure. I mean, it's unbelievable. So that I hope makes some sense to all of you out here. Now, a couple of other things. So we found out, I mean, look, no one is going to be surprised. And I hate even saying what I'm about to say. But yet again, existing home sales continue to fall. Meanwhile, listen to this. This is a headline from one of these freak shows, right? Housing affordability is worse today than at the height of the housing bubble. Now, what's Greg Mannarino's definition of a bubble? I think most of you know it. When any asset, just focus on this for a moment. When any asset moves above the ability for the average person making an average salary to acquire, when the average price of an asset moves above the ability of an average guy or an average girl making an average salary to afford it, it's in a bubble. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. Doesn't that make sense to you? Think about it. If the average price of XYZ, in this case housing, is out of reach of the price of the average guy or the average girl making an average salary, it's a bubble. Period. Okay. And we are so far beyond that, like far beyond the sun. Ingve Malmsteen, you know that song? Great song. We're way, way beyond this, man. It's just we're in it somewhere else. Some other thing is going on here. So clearly that's what's going on. Now, a couple of other interesting things. First of all, before you even get there, you paying attention to Dick's Sporting Goods today? It lost like a quarter, like 25% of its value today. Macy's also got slammed, falling down like 13%. Look, this economy, it's over. The corporate agenda, you should start thinking that some other crisis is going to happen. Again, you got the entire banking system in turmoil. The banking system is in turmoil. You're not allowed to know that. And the reason why you're not allowed to know that is because they don't want you to take your cash out. No, they got to keep it quiet. You see, it's always the same story. Remember what I'm going to tell you. You ready? This is a little thing that you should burn into your brain cells, all right? Nobody knows until everybody knows. And when everybody knows, whatever it might be, okay, there's when the problems arise. So you want to be the first person. You want to be first, be smarter, or cheat. Okay, does that sound familiar to you? We don't cheat, you and I. All right. So whatever we do, we want to be first, or we want to be smarter. That's margin call, by the way. Be first, be smarter, or cheat. We don't cheat. None of us cheat. Okay, we're all we're on the square. All of us. We are on the straight and narrow. But understanding the current situation and how it is unfolding, does it make sense to you? Let's think about this, you and me. And I want to hear, I'm going to look at these comments here. Does it make sense to you that this is throughout the banking system right now, capital outflows, cash, people are pulling their cash out of these institutions for whatever reason. Well, do you want to be one of the first people to do it, or you want to be one of the last? Okay. At one point, they're going to put restraints on what people can remove from the system. So you want to get your cash out. You want to convert it into something else. You know what I'm going to tell you. Okay. Let me touch on something else. And this was also Lord Humongous, a very smart guy. I love the guy. He's been with me for 1,000 years. All right. Why is it? Let's think for a moment. All right. Why is it that we left a wealth-based system with coins that actually had gold and silver in them to what we have now? Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Why did we go from a system which allowed people to hold gold and silver in their hands every day? This is what they did, to what we have now, because they didn't want the average person on the street to have access to it. You understand? That's a fact. They wanted control over the system. They wanted the debt-based economic model, absolute control over everything. And when we get whatever they're going to throw at us next, central bank digital currency or a fractionally backed gold currency by the BRICS, it's still going to be about control. You know what I'm talking about, people. None of you, all of you, are smarter than me. And we sit here and we talk about these concepts. But doesn't it make sense to you? Why did they not want people to hold gold and silver? And they still don't want you to, because they don't want you to have control. Having gold, silver, even platinum and palladium, commodities, okay, whatever. Let's just stick to gold and silver. In your possession gives you a lot of power, gives you a lot of strength. Okay, there's no counterparty risk here. These are real money. They've been real money forever, and they will never change. They'll always be real money. Thank you, Darcy. I appreciate that. So I hope this makes sense to all of you that are sitting here with me post-market, and we're just loving life. I think all of us here. So again, I got all this stuff. We're not going to cover all of this. So let's move on to a few other things before this gets stupidly long. We're at like 11 minutes here. People, help me out with these thumbs up. You trying to tell me I got 1,452 people here, and I can only muster 392 thumbs up? These are so valuable, people. Come on. Let's get this stuff out there. Without those thumbs up, we're dead. This video will not get seen. Do you think I covered anything here already that's important to know? I would be willing to bet most of you would say yeah. Anyway, how about this one? 51% of Americans cannot pay off their credit card balance, and they do not every month. Instead, they allow their balances to accrue, interest to accrue. And this is a terrible, terrible place to be. This is something else that kind of plays right into it, I think. This might have been CNBC, I'm not sure. People today are more concerned about their financial security or lack thereof or insecurity than ever before. People are more worried about their financial security or insecurity than dying today. That's how great everything is. Ask the thing sitting behind the Resolute desk, or whoever the creature that they want to put over there. Because we're all rich. You remember that? That was the last guy. Didn't work out too well. But anyway, look, they're all puppets. Every single one of them. I don't care what you might think, or you were hoping and praying for something to happen. It's going to make a difference in your life. No. This is the few. The few have controlled the masses for thousands of years, are using puppets like these, and that's exactly what's going on here. Except it's more so than we've ever seen in the history of the world. So financial insecurity: 61% of working American families are more afraid of going broke than dying. I think that's a pretty profound thing. You know what? I'm gonna probably call it here kind of soon. We'll touch on some of this other stuff another day. But I want to go over a few other things with all of you. Anyway, Magic Mika, thank you for being here. Lava News, Lord Humongous, dude, you're great. Perry, everybody. And I want to thank all of you for being here. This, like I say all the time, this is a movement in many ways. You and I getting, putting these concepts together, making sense of this thing that we are in. I think it's really important for us to, again, always raise our awareness, stay on top of these things, take action. Look, it's lovely to sit back and listen to all this fun stuff and try to make sense of it. But what it comes down to is trying to figure out what you need to do. Look, let me say this too. Listen to this stuff, ponder this stuff, but don't take anything I say as gospel truth here. Do your own research. Think about what we cover every single day. I would be willing to bet that eventually, you're going to say, hold on a minute, this really does make sense to me. This thing is coming down around us here. The economy, the financial system. And do you really think, how many of you believe that this is by accident? It's deliberate, all of this, 100%. Okay, and this is going to continue on and on until, again, and we're going to go from crisis to crisis to freaking crisis. It's just not going to stop. That's the way we function now. Okay, there's no normalcy to this. Again, what would you expect in an environment we have no representation? None. You have no voice in the political spectrum or pretty much anywhere else. At least right here, we have an open platform still. I'm surprised I'm out here all these years, being allowed to talk about these kinds of things. And this is just so basic. The stuff I sit here and talk about and outline with all of you is honestly, it's really in our freaking face. It's very difficult for someone to say the things that we speak about here are not happening because they are. Not only that, we've pretty much said these things would happen or predicted they would from I don't know how freaking long ago. And I think all of us realize the current situation here is grave. The economy is in a dire position. You know how let me say this too. It's just too funny. How can you be certain that what I'm telling you about the economy is true? That it's in a free fall, it's dire, the people are getting destroyed here. It's an elimination on a grand scale with regard to the middle class. Because if you turn on Fox Business, Bloomberg, CNBC, they're all telling you how great you're doing. You see, what they do is they dictate your life. Okay, and then people are so fixated on that thing that the programs, that's all it is. People's brains being wired a certain way, and then they wonder what the heck is going on. Why do you think the suicide rate is at its highest it's ever been today in history? People can't get it. They don't understand what's going on. Not only are they suffering, they're wondering why, because they turn on the propaganda ministry and they're telling them how great they're doing. Meanwhile, people sit back and say, hold on a minute, I'm not doing well at all. I think I'm just gonna out myself. This is what they're doing. This is a mind screw on a level that is just really difficult to get your head around. But again, it should be clear to you all that sit here with me every day, twice a freaking day, except for yesterday. I missed my post market. You get it. I know I'm sitting here and I'm preaching to the choir. I got Alan Greenspan here with us today. Where's Goldstein the gargoyle? She's always here. Anyway, all right, people, look, we're going to call it. This video is 17 freaking minutes long. We covered so much. Thank you. Look at this. We just hit 800 thumbs up. That is epic. It's beautiful. I'm telling you how this works. You get more of these thumbs up, the more people get to hear this stuff. And I think look, I could be wrong here, but I think this information is gold. I really do. Where are you going to get it? There's very few people who understand the system like we do. Okay, this is not just my thing. This is our thing. And I think we got this down. We really, really do. We know who our enemy is. And I'm telling you, people, these institutions, these central banks are the enemy. They want you to think something else. They got to go. They really got to go. We need a freaking revolution against these institutions here. They are, and unfortunately, they are so powerful. They are so strong right now. It would literally take an act of the Almighty to bring them down. That's it. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. All right, look, I'm freaking sweating here. Wow, 905 thumbs up. I love all of you people from the heart. I mean that so much. You have no idea. All right, we're gonna call it. We will resume these festivities in the morning, as we always do. All right. Thank you again, everyone. I thank you for the comments, for the support, for those thumbs up. I don't know what else to say. All right. I'll see you in the morning.